Let's go and bring in Jeff. Jeff,
Hey.
him from California. Jeff is a theist, and Jeff here has an argument that God exists, and it's the transcendental argument. Hey, Jeff.
Hi, how's it going, guys?
Doing okay.
Never had a bad day.
Cool. Yeah, so pretty easy argument. Just want to see what you guys respond to it. It's really only a certain amount of atheist responses to it. And I'm not a philosophy major or anything, so I would just say knowledge, therefore God. But if you want, we can get more into it. If you know the argument, you can kind of give me your rebuttal to it.
Yeah, I've heard it a few times before.
I was gonna ask to summarize it. It is you summarized it quickly. You said knowledge, therefore God. Is this the same one that says that if we claim to know anything, then we are borrowing from the religious or the theistic worldview because you can't? It's not that one.
No, just if we have knowledge, there is God. We have knowledge, therefore God. Another one, it's just a justification for transcendental categories.
Can you? So sorry. The way that I have heard this, and I want to make sure I'm not misremembering, or was that like, unless you know everything, you can't know anything. God knows everything, therefore all knowledge must come from God. Is it that one, or is it a different one?
No.
Okay, so it's we hear so many of these, and I want to hear which one it is.
That's okay. I can give you like a really easy syllogism. So the first one would be, would you agree that concepts like truth require a mind to, be?
Are you asking me, or are you stating that as your first premise?
Yeah. It's just an easy syllogism. Do you agree that concepts require minds to exist?
No. Well, I guess it's weird because when you say concepts, I want to say yes because a concept is a thought, more or less. But like, I would also, if I'm defining terms, I might use the word concept interchangeably there. So if I'm saying like natural selection is a concept that I just made a video about, natural selection still happens as a process.
Right. But as a concept, can it exist independent of a mind thinking of it?
I guess I'm really not trying to be a dick. I'm trying to hammer down on like when you say concept, you are necessarily saying something which is being thought about, not something that is happening or something that exists. You are specifically saying, can something that is being thought about, can the process of thought happen without a mind? That's what you're saying, right?
Not necessarily have to be thought about. Like you can do like the concepts of the laws of logic, like the 3 classical laws of logic, don't necessarily need to be thought of for the universe to obey them. Would you agree with that?
Okay, I fundamentally, I think I'm missing something, so I'm just gonna tentatively just say okay, but I want to see where this goes. Can you give an
example of a? So we'll use truth because truth is really easy. We'll do truth. Can you?
Sure.
Truth requires a mind to interpret it, to state it, to verbalize it, a mind. Okay. Can you give me an example of how truth exists absent a mind or independent of a mind?
Yeah. See, this is where I think we're getting hung up on semantics, and I don't want to. I want to hear the rest of your argument. But like when you say truth, I am interpreting that and using that word to be more or less synonymous with like objective reality. So like the truth that the sun is there, that is a true thing. Whether or not I know it, whether or not anybody knows it, that is a true thing. That is the truth, is that the sun does exist and it is right there, right? And so like interpretation isn't necessary, a mind isn't necessary, unless, again, what you're actually saying is the process of thinking about what is true and deciding what is true requires a mind, in which case totally. But like, I don't think that's what you're saying. And I would,
there are different types of truth.
If I'm still lost, I would encourage you to just move on to the next premise because we're going to be here for an hour, and we can elucidate this further.
That's fine. I don't rush.
I guess maybe Jeff.
No one's going to be happy. No one's going to be happy if we do.
Maybe I can put in my 2 cents on that. Maybe I can put in my 2 cents on that. I define truth as that which comports to reality. So truth, by definition, requires some proposition to be evaluated. So like truth is an attribute we assign to a proposition or a statement.
And does that require a mind to happen?
Yeah, because it prerequisite requires a mind because you need a proposition, and propositions are from the mind. So I don't say truth is something that exists like concretely.
Right? And there are different types of truth, but I think we can agree that a proposition to happen to state something is either true or not true. But would you agree that that requires the mind?
Well, yeah, I'm trying to get to that. Yes. Since truth requires a proposition and a proposition requires a mind, then sure, I'm fine with saying that, okay, in order to have truth, to assign the attribute of truth to something, a mind must be there. But I see truth as an attribute assigned to a proposition and not something that like exists. But
okay. So next premise would be that, and we can get hung up on these. I don't mind. The second one is that as humans, we can't create absolute concepts. So an absolute concept would be something like truth, where it is an absolute concept that we can all tap into. We can make predications, we can do inquiries, we can come to the trueness of something, where you can create a concept of an idea in your mind, but I won't necessarily tap into that concept. I can make a concept of an idea for a book or different types of concepts. It will not be universal between all humans immediately. So premise 2 is that we can't create as independent minds a universal concept that
you're saying we cannot create.
I'm saying, do you think that we can? This the second.
I mean, as a collective whole, no. As individuals, hell yeah.
Of course, right. So you can create your own concept right now, but I won't necessarily be able to tap into it. So like the concept of
the entire idea of the theory of mind, yes.
Okay, great. So premise 3 is if absolute concepts cannot be created by independent minds, but concepts require a mind, then how do you ground a universal concept like truth, logic, morals, the self, knowledge, any of these? How would you ground them if they require a mind?
Did you misspeak or did I mishear you? We just agreed that humans as a whole, all people at once, cannot create one absolute concept because there will always be differences between individual minds. However, individual humans, individual minds can create absolute concepts for themselves. And then the next thing you said was, if independent minds can't create absolute concepts, then how do we reconcile XYZ? And I thought we just agreed that they can't.
No. So concepts require a mind, premise 1. Premise 2, we can't create absolute concepts like truth. Premise 3 is how would you ground an absolute concept like truth? How would you ground it?
Yeah, I think back on premise 2. I think back on premise 2. I don't think Forrest and I agree that there are such a things as objective concepts or universal concepts.
So you don't think that truth is universal and absolute?
No, because if truth, like going back, sorry, Forrest.
Well, that's a truth.
You're fine.
So that's
you and I have different. You and I are going to have a different take on this because of the problems that we have with premise 1. So please, you go first, and then I'll fill in as well.
Yeah. I think so. We don't want to conflate truth with like objective reality, because like truth is, like I said, truth is the assignment that we give to a proposition, and that requires a mind, and that makes it subjective. So I don't see how you can have a universal concept or an absolute concept or an objective concept when we're talking about those things.
Just because your subjective mind can interpret something doesn't mean that your subjective mind doesn't make absolute truth statements. Truth is a universal concept that is grounding in the universe.
It's not. It's not.
Okay, that's a truth statement. That's a contradiction. You just contradicted yourself.
It's not.
No,
it's not. Okay, so here's the thing.
You're saying truth is not universal. A true statement. It's not absolute.
It's not. No, hold on.
Statement? Saying it's not a truth statement is a truth statement.
Jeff, hold the fuck on. I am answering you. So here, a second ago, when we were on premise 1, I was very clear to say that sounds like we're getting caught up on semantics, because at the end of the day, when I am using the word truth, I am referring to objective reality. Eric is not. Eric was using it in a way that sounds like it's a little bit more in line with how you're using it. But at the end of the day, what I'm trying to put out here, based on your other two premises from what I'm following here, is that we're talking about individual people's perception of what is actually true in the universe. For clarity's sake, I am going to, from now on, use the word objective reality to describe my position and the word truth to use to describe like individual people making sense of the universe, that which comports in their mind with objective reality, the way that Eric was saying. So, truth,
when you say objective reality,
necessarily,
hold on. When you say objective reality, because this is a semantic game. When you say objective reality, are you saying it from your subjective point of view? Is your subjective reality objective reality? I don't understand.
You literally just answered your own question. Is objective reality and subjective reality the same? No, those are different things. So,
right. So, what is objective reality?
I gave you an example earlier, and I'll do it again. Okay. So, the universe exists outside of my mind. It exists all around me. That, as far as I can tell, is what's really going on out there. The universe existing all around me is an objective thing that has objective properties and objective things happening that have no bearing whatsoever on whether or not I know about it, see it, interpret it, comprehend it, care about it, any of that, right? And it's been that way for 13.8 billion years before I was born. There was all sorts of shit going on before I was even around to interpret it. And for trillions of years after I'm dead, there will be shit going on that I can't interpret. So that is all objective reality. Whether or not I know about it, whether or not I care about it, whether or not I see it, think about it, whatever, the sun is still 93 million miles away from the earth, sitting right there doing its thing, right? So that is an objective reality. If I look and measure the sun and take measurements of it and decide I understand the position to be, if I go insane and decide that the sun isn't actually there, or that it's actually a deity, or that it's if I say that it's burning rather than going through fusion, whatever I get right or wrong about the sun, that is all my subjective experience that I am interpreting. So that was the reason why I was being very careful at the beginning to try to break these different points.
Hold on, you're going on a filibuster.
I am not going on a filibuster. I'm explaining the answer to your question.
I already understand.
So that's why
I already understand.
That's why I was so careful at the beginning to try to separate these things. And you were telling me I was getting it wrong when apparently I wasn't. So what I'm trying to get across here is that you're saying that humanity as a whole.
Are you muting me?
No, I'm repeating your statement back to you so you can tell me what I'm not understanding.
Okay.
You said
hold on.
that.
Hold on.
Truth requires a mind.
There's no unit.
Hold on. Jeff, we're the host of the show. We'll talk all we want, and we'll give you your chance to talk, but let us talk first.
You said at the beginning, this premise one was that truth requires a mind. It sounds like you're using this word truth to refer to a subjective understanding of what objective reality is. Is that correct? Is that how you're using that word?
No. So truth.
Okay.
So I would classify truth as a universal concept. So a better way to put it, right? So like the laws of logic, truth. If there were no humans around, if there were no humans in your worldview, there are, billions of years, whatever. At some point, there were no humans, right? So when there were no humans, did the laws of logic, did truth exist in a non-material way in the universe? Did truth exist, or did we bring it into existence by becoming an amoeba or something?
Okay. So I think the answer is yes, because that it did exist before minds existed. I think that's the answer based on the way that you just phrased it, but I'm not sure because it sounds like you're going back now to what I said originally, which is that truth is synonymous with objective reality.
So when there were no people around and truth is immaterial, how did it exist if it requires a mind? Where was it?
It didn't require a mind. But by definition, by what I just said, it doesn't require a mind. You just asked me a question. You just asked me a question and I gave you an answer and you said, okay, so if the opposite of your answer is true, then what about this thing? I'm sorry. That's not how that works.
I'm just asking you, if it doesn't require a mind, then how is it grounded? How does truth express itself if not through a mind?
Okay. Are the laws of physics true in the way you're using the word truth? Physics.
Sure. Yes.
Okay. Before there were any minds in the universe, was physics still a thing? Did gravity still exist before humans evolved?
The laws of logic still existed, yes.
I didn't ask about logic. I said physics. I said physics.
Sure. Well, physics comports to the laws of logic.
Sure, but I'm specifically asking about physics on purpose. So,
yes, math also existed, right?
If gravity existed before there were minds around to interpret gravity, what was gravity grounded in?
Well, gravity isn't necessarily a concept; it's a force. You could be classified as a force, but a better way to say it would be like physics or mathematics. Mathematics did exist; it's logic, and I would say that it is grounded in a mind, aka an absolute mind.
I just said a second ago that I was saying the laws of physics, and you said the laws of physics and the laws of logic are all the same. They all comport with each other, and so you were using these terms interchangeably. Gravity is part of physics. So why now, when we get to this fundamental point,
force. It could be a force. It could be classified as a force. It's not necessary.
Is there or are there not laws which describe gravity?
There probably are, yes, but it could be classified as a force.
Which is the laws of which concept. When I say the laws of physics, when I say the laws of physics,
are you talking about what are you talking about? Well, why do you just
I was literally Jeff, I was literally explaining that when you interrupted me. When I say the laws of physics, gravity, the law of gravity, F of G is equal to negative G times M1, M2 divided by R squared, that whole thing, right? That's part of that. That's one of the laws of physics, right? It is a law in physics. And so if we understand that these concepts, mathematical or otherwise, which are foundational principles of how the entire universe works, were indeed around before humans came into existence, then that would make them objective truths. Maybe the way that we interpret them or write about them in physics books aren't quite accurate, aren't quite perfect, because we are humans trying to interpret the universe around us, right? But they do fundamentally exist whether or not we fully understand them. That's what I'm trying to get across to you.
How do you ground them? How do you justify them?
How do I justify? I can look around the universe and see them.
Okay, that's a circular argument, dude. I'm asking, how do you justify?
What do you mean by justify then?
Maybe I can step in and help here. So
yeah, please.
So Jeff, we're talking about laws of logic, laws of physics. We're talking about the objective universe, the objective reality. The way I look at it, I collectively put it all together. Also mathematics. I collectively put it all together. One of my presuppositions is that reality exists, and reality behaves with consistent, unwavering patterns. So that's a presupposition of mine. That's a starting point.
That's a presupposition, right? And do you have to justify that?
Hold on, I'm still. So hold on, Jeff.
How do you justify
first,
that presupposition?
I don't have to. It's a presupposition.
Great. So God did it. I don't have to justify that. We're at a.
That's fine. But here's the thing, though. That's fine. You can go ahead and do that. But Jeff, hold on. Stop trying to run away from this. It's fine if you do that. It's fine if you do that.
But the problem is,
okay, I am muting.
This is why you believe the dumb shit that you believe, Jeff, because you can't fucking let somebody else explain their own position to you. Yeah. You just keep deciding what we believe.
I can tell Jeff hangs out on philosophy Discord servers. Jeff, you got to relax and calm down. We're not being adversarial here. We just want to talk, okay? A presupposition of mine is that objective reality exists. We have a universe. We have a reality. It behaves in consistent, unwavering patterns. We humans developed in this system, and then we came along and we noticed these patterns, and then we defined laws and we defined mathematics. Laws and mathematics are our invention to describe these patterns we see. In that we look at those things and go, okay, is this law true? Yes, that's from us. The law is from us. The pattern we observe is in our minds, and then we determine whether our law actually aligns, comports with the reality that we see. But you're confusing, it seems like, the map for the place. You're trying to say, like, okay, does truth exist? But it's like, no, it's dependent on our minds, because we're analyzing the things we see. We're analyzing the patterns that the universe is showing us. And it is my presupposition that the universe exists and it behaves in a consistent way. Now, if that's not your presupposition, that's fine. But you, with your God presupposition, as you were saying, you're adding something much bigger to the mix, something that can't be demonstrated. At least with my presupposition, I can show things and go, look, universe, look, patterns we can see. I can show you that my presupposition holds true in at least some cases. And if you want to presuppose God, now you're in a position of, okay, you're adding something new to the mix. And as far as I can tell, you can't demonstrate it to me. I'm going to mute you now.
Dude, when you respond to that, I have a building on that I have an issue with one thing you said, and I want to build on that.
Hold on. Relax. You guys have turned logic into magic. Propositions, they aren't dirt or rocks, right? They're concepts. They're meaningful. Concepts cannot exist without a mind. All you did was sneak in a mind to say I can observe it with my mind. That's all you did. You made a presupposition that your mind exists. I want you to justify that. You can't.
You want to justify the existence of my mind?
I can see it. But yes, dude. You snuck it in. Your presupposition is, well, it exists.
Okay, well, I'll tell you what. You justify, Jeff. You justify the existence of your mind.
You. Don't tu quoque me.
No. I'm not tu quoquing you. I'm asking you. Okay, how do I possibly justify the existence of my mind?
Can you?
This is the weirdest.
Yeah, this is so bizarre.
Can I
justify the
thing?
Like, go ahead.
Answer the question.
Forrest.
Can you justify that you have a mind?
Off the cuff? No, I don't see how I can justify the existence of my mind the same way that I can't justify to you whether I'm in. Hold on. Jeff, chill out. Yeah, that's really nice. It's nice to see why you're here. You just want to cook people, or you want to have a conversation? Discord bro. Jeff, why is this important? Like, why is this important to you?
I actually can justify why I have a mind. I think I can. I was going to try it. Oh, fuck. Yes, this is literally all he had. He got
a sound clip and he left.
Yeah, I literally have a board full of questions and notes about where he was inconsistent. And I wanted to check where he was at, because he kept switching the definition of truth. Also, the one thing that I had issue with what you said that I wanted to present to Jeff and see if he was able to grapple with it was the concept of novel, testable predictions, which is something that you can get from our position, but you cannot get from his. And like, if there are, we won't know him because he's too big of a bitch to stick around and actually address a serious conversation where he doesn't just get to shout at people. Like, good gravy, dude. That's the best you have, is how do you know you have a mind? That's some fucking Sci-10 Bergenkate shit. That's awful.
Yeah.
Ugh.
That's the problem with like the transcendental argument. And when it comes to like presuppositionalism, it's like, okay, fine. We have to presuppose things. Like, you ask enough why questions, you're eventually going to hit philosophical, metaphysical bedrock, and you can't ask any more whys. You have to have some starting assumptions. My starting assumption that I mentioned: reality exists. Reality behaves consistently. Two very basic presuppositions. And ones I can demonstrate in at least some cases. I can't demonstrate it universally. I can't demonstrate that reality behaves pattern-wise the same in all places. But I know in my own local area, where everyone else that I know lives, we can show that reality is consistent. It has consistent patterns. We are brains. We are meat bags with brains inside of them. We operate within reality under the same rules as reality. So when I can conceptualize things around me, when I have knowledge about things around me, I ground that in the fact that I am a brain in reality, so my brain operates with the same rules as reality. And so now I'm here and I can say, okay, that's how I ground it. I am grounded in reality that I presuppose exists. Now, I want to say that Jeff will probably hold those same beliefs. He'll probably agree that objective reality exists. He'll probably agree that reality behaves in the same exact ways that it always does and always ever will be. He probably exists that I am a meat brain, or he is a meat brain in this reality. Like, I think we'll be in alignment on all of those things. But he wants to add an additional presupposition to it, and that there is a disembodied mind outside of that, something that he can't explain, doesn't really explain anything. It's just I don't want to be strawman it or like be a reductionist about it, but it's just a feel-good thing. It's like, I can't explain this ultimately, so I want to add something else that kind of soothes that discomfort. And that doesn't help us at all. Because, Jeff, you have an extra presupposition in there that I'm asking you to justify, or was trying to ask you to justify. We didn't get around to it. But
no.
Why are you adding that when you don't have to? Anyway.
You also contradicted yourself 30 fucking times. And I just want to know what the fuck you meant by like some very important key terms that I don't think you know the answer to or the definitions of either. You're just saying them because they make you sound like, they make you feel like you sound smart. And at the end of the day, you're just babbling nonsense. If you happen to find a spine laying around anywhere on whatever Reddit board you crawled out of, please feel free to call back in. Lines are still open as far as I know. I would love to continue trying to hear you talk. But so far, I feel like I just wasted 10 minutes of the brief life that I have listening to you jerk off into a microphone. And it didn't go well for anybody.
All right, well, let's move on.
And like a subscriber, Jimmy will have to go on a polyamorous dating show to win some prize money.
Wait, I want to do that. So also hit like and subscribe, and then go to patreon.com/calltheline. I was trying to make you laugh and ruin the take. That's why that silly face earlier. If I was on a polyamorous dating show, I would just choose everybody. Except Frederick. Leave a comment.